Is this it? I think it is. Holy jeez. We are live indeed on pretty much all fronts. I guess this is it. D Spot is live. Let's go.
Blow up the spot. Are you ready? Blow up the spot. Are you ready? D-Spot. Blowing up the spot.
Welcome, everybody, to the live stream here of D Spot, multi-streaming on. Let me have a count. It's at least 6, maybe 7 different channels. I'm hoping that it's all coming through loud and clear. Not too loud, of course. But I guess my boomer self, you're kind of getting a sense at this point that I'm having a wee bit of technical issues, or just making sure that I'm streaming in the right way, making sure not just that the audio, that the video is coming through, and that the stream keys are entered incorrectly. But welcome, everybody. It is a whole bunch of fun coming at you today. I just wanted to go live. It is 6 p.m., nearly 3 minutes to 6 in the p.m. Central European time, and a great time, I thought, to come to my audience live and in the flesh with just a hangout session. I wanted to get over the debacle that was yesterday in the Signo Iduna Park, and also bask a little bit in the glory of having reached the semifinals for the first time since 2019, folks. 2019, that is 6 years. Oh, got this one clock in. I haven't got my third cam set up. That will be my phone. Anyways, I don't have that here. It's all good. It's all good. The camera switcher will be this for today, just the one shot. And the overlay, hey, looking pretty nice, if I have to say myself. Looking decent. And happy Easters. You can maybe hear the kiddos laughing in the background. Oh, yeah. Kiddos, go away. Scram. Telling the kids are here at home. They have Easter holidays, so Feliz Semana Santa for all of those of you that have the Easter holidays off, and for all of those parents of you that are working at home and figuring out what to do with your old kiddos, with your good old kiddos hanging out at home as opposed to being at schools. But hey, drop your comments in the comment section. Like I said, I want to go over a bit of what took place yesterday in the quarterfinal, the second leg between Barça and Dortmund. Hey, second leg that I had the pleasure of commentating for Barça 1, co-commentating, I should say, with Pablito Woos. It was a nerve-wracking affair, to say the least. Let me get rid of these windows because I'm too hung up over the technicals, and I think I should just whatever, just stream. So I should be coming live on the Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, Kick, that's 6, Facebook, that's 7, and I think that's enough. I think that's about enough today. We'll see if it works. The first time I missed a couple. This time around, I'm hoping that I got all of them. And I think at least Instagram is live. So good. That's good enough for me. Whether it's 4 or 5 out of 7, hey, I'll take it. I was spending way too much time figuring out the technical details on how to actually make this happen. Like I said, it's a boom. I'm a boom over here. I'm an 80s kid trying to figure this out. Trying to do this the right way. By the way, shout outs to the overlay here, D Spot in full effect with the overlay. Yes, indeed. And of course, I had to bring the beats. You know I got to bring the beats. Shout out to Intro Beats for this beauty. Let me play it one more time just for good old time's sake. Huh? Let's reminisce to what started 8 years ago and continues today. blowing up the spot. Shout out to Adi Intro. See, you see, I didn't do it all right. I'm only now going live on the grams, on the IGs. And okay, I got the first people joining there. You see, I knew I was doing something wrong. I just knew I had to be doing something wrong. There it is. Now the people on the gram joining as well. Well, again, welcome, 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 everybody, to an improvised D spot. Feel free to join me in the comment section. I've got my good friend Mari. How you doing, Mari? Hello, hello, hello. I know you're trying to hustle, do your own thing as well on your end. Welcome to D Spot. Nice to see you again as well. I just started the Pompeu Fabra, the sixth edition of the English course of the Pompeu Fabra Masters in Sports Journalism. It looks like a good class. I have to say, I'm already, well, we're three classes in. I say I just started. It's, of course, now the Semana Santa break, but it looks like a good crop. I'm very happy to see you, Mari, also continuing to do your thing. Keep hustling, keep at it. I think you are back in your native country. Where are you from again? From South America? Was it Colombia? No me acuerdo. Por favor, dime. No me acuerdo exactamente de qué país eres en Sudamérica tan linda. I think it was Colombia, pero no me acuerdo, sinceramente. Pero, oye, bienvenida, welcome. I'm definitely gonna ask Mari to join me on the stream if you want now. Why not? Like I said, this is just Colombia, ¿ves? Es que sí que me acuerdo. Digo que no me acuerdo, pero sí que me acuerdo. And yeah, why not jump on the live stream if you can? Cartagena, nice. Colombia, no, if not number one, it's in my top five for sure for countries to visit that I've never been to. Colombia is such a rich country when it comes to culture and fun, just a place to visit, surely. I lived a little while I say a little while, it was, what was it, 8, 9 months in Puerto Vallarta. Eso, of course, in Central America, in Mexico. And, bueno, Mexico lindo. It's stolen a piece of my heart. ¿Qué pasa, Juan? Grande. Okay, all the chats coming through on in the Instagram. I'm happy that I finally managed to fix that thing, the stream key. Oh my goodness. Who would have thought that that was the difference maker? It's the stream key, getting the right stream key, and then just hitting the live button on the gram. So, ¿qué pasa, Juan? Oh, yeah. Everybody that is not following both Mari and Juan, please do. They're doing excellent work, both of them, in the world of sports journalism. Juan now has also moved on since his Barça Studios days, working at Sport, producing a fine podcast, mind you, La Posesión, one that I highly recommend for all of those of you that understand, or I was going to say speak, but at least understand la lingua castellana. Check it out. Absolutely great podcast, of which Juan is a valued member. How have you been here? I've been good. I've been good. I've embarked as well on a solo mission, trying to get my independent content creation going. I still work with Barça Studios. I'm happy to say, like I said yesterday, I had the honor of co-commentating that thrilling affair over in the Signo Iduna Park between Dortmund and Barça. But yeah, I have sort of taken a step sideways, I guess I should say, not a step back, but a step sideways to say, look, I want to create my own content. I'm eager. I'm full of energy, and have the ambition to, make something out of D-Spot, make something out of Churros, have the ability to express myself the way that I want, when I want, and that as a full-time employee for such a massive organization as Football Club Barcelona just wasn't possible, right? It wasn't possible, besides the fact that my daily hours was taken for presenting and helping to produce Barça news. Now I'm a free man. I'm a free at last, and I'm happy to be doing so. I'm happy to be able to put all my efforts and focus into independent content. And so I figured, look, I might as well take this time here to kind of figure out how the streaming world works, something I'm unfamiliar with. So, again, I appreciate your patience. Here we are streaming on a multi stream, 7 different streams. I hope it's a multi stream. Uh, all the comments. Here we go. Bruna in the house. ¿Qué pasa, Bruna? ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? My mother in law also supporting this live stream. So it looks like it's working. I'm very happy about that. And why don't we jump into the content a little bit? Because we estamos en las semis. Estamos en semifinales, chicos. Thank riddance for that. It wasn't always clear that we were going to be in the semifinals, especially when you look the way that Dortmund came out last night, like a team possessed on an absolute mission, like you would have expected them to, of course, to try to turn the score around. Barça walked into the second leg of the Champions League quarterfinals with a nice cushion, you could say, a 4-0 cushion that maybe, just maybe, made this team a little bit. I don't want to use complacent because I don't think Hansi Flick nor the players know that they're in a position to feel complacent when they walk into that. But certainly, psychologically, having a 4-goal advantage must do something. Who am I? I have not partaken in professional sports, but it must do something to the psyche to walk into a match where you say, okay, we have a 4-goal cushion. There's some rotations going on. Obviously, key pieces in the likes of Pedri and Inigo Martinez for start. They were not. They were on the bench. They were not starters. And the fact that they walked into maybe facing a team that they thought were eighth in the Bundesliga, which is a fact, and not took them as the runners up of the previous Champions League edition. Again, I'm merely speculating here, but that is what I am in my own right to do here on this channel. Maybe that just had a factor, had a little bit of an influence, let's say, on the psyche as the team walked into this leg, because it was day and night, wasn't it? It was Dortmund that came out guns blazing, really looking very similar to like how Barça looked like in the first leg just a week ago. Let's not forget that it was merely a week ago, when Barça walked away with a 4-0 victory over Dortmund. And not to say that Dortmund in that first leg, were simply steamrolled and Barça looked flawless. Not at all. But it did definitely look like Barça looked like a shadow of themselves. We didn't look like the team that we saw last week. And it became evident from the get-go. I mean, Dortmund creating chance after chance. It was an avalanche of chances from the beginning, and that continued all throughout the entirety of the first half. Thanks to Szczesny, thanks to the defensive work as well. I personally thought that Gerard Martin had a very, very good match, filling in from an Alejandro Balde, who's a guaranteed starter. I want to see if I can get what's going on. Why can I not share the screen here? No, it's telling me what? Why can't I do this? Hold on. Come on, let me be a fluent streamer. Here we go. Alejandro Balde, who of course will be injured for at least 2-3 weeks. Some say, the rumors around the campfire say that he might be out for a month. It certainly looks like he will miss the remainder of April, and that will mean that he will be out for the Copa del Rey final against our eternal enemy. And Gerard Martin, who I think stepped up to the plate and did a fine enough job to try to contain. Can I get this over here? Here we go. All right, and now I should just be able to. There we go. Hey, it's almost like I'm an actual streamer. Trying to contain the likes of a Bayer Gotu, who of course was not your regular starter neither for Dortmund. Dortmund for themselves had a bunch of suspensions and injured player to deal with. That D-Spot logo is a little. It's not the best. Hey, ChatGPT did what he could. But In any case, I thought, look, Gerard Martin for me will get a pass. It's interesting to see the scores here. The Sofa score scores. Talk about redundancy. Barça that came out with Jules Koundé, Araujo, Cubarsí, Gerard Martin, of course, Chesney and goal, Frenkie de Jong, Gavi, and in the midfield, joined by Fermin Lopez, as I mentioned, Pedri on the bench, Rafinha, the starting the star Tridente, the starting three, making an appearance for Barça, Rafinha, Lewandowski, and Lamine Yamal, as you would expect, even for an occasion like this. And quite frankly, I thought that, I mean, Eddie Yemi had a great game. All the Dortmund guys looked fierce in that regard. I mean, Bayer, for his part, also wreaking havoc on the Barca defense time after time. Benzemaini, besides the own goal that he scored, had a terrific game. Svensson also not necessarily a usual starter for them. Of course, dealing with severe absences in the likes of Slotterbeck, Sabitzer, and Cole Campbell. Cole Campbell, maybe not as much, but yeah, Duranville. This is the name I really wanted to highlight. Duranville, who in the league phase already highly impressed in the league game, in the league phase game between Dortmund and Bayern over on German territory. Mind you, the only team, Barca that is, to have been able to defeat Dortmund at their home ground in correct me if I'm wrong, but it was something along the lines of at least 2 or 3 years, three maybe a stretch, but I think it was 2.5 years. I knew that walking into the Dortmund Stadium, Signal Iduna Park, it was going to be hell. I knew that it was going to be a case where we were going to be put up against the ropes, and the place, Signal Iduna Park, was going to erupt, and it was going to be a pressure cooker, and it was going to be a case of, okay, what is this team made of? What can we do at this point in time with our backs against the wall, with our backs up against the ropes? It's now, and I said it in yesterday's broadcast as well, more than like a tactical battle, it becomes a mental one, right? It's kind of like you can throw all of the tactics out of the book, out of the, you can throw all the tactics into the bin rather, and it becomes a psychological battle, right? We know the ghosts that haunt us, the ghosts from Christmas pasts in seasons prior, where we have allowed teams to remontarnos, right, to make a comeback. And luckily, the only surviving player of that time, if I'm not mistaken, is Marc-Andre ter Stegen. Frankie wasn't there. Frankie wasn't at Liverpool yet. Frankie was taking care of business with Ajax against Real Madrid. And this team has also shown that it can, when faced with adverse conditions, overcome the hump. Do I need to remind you of an Atletico up 2-0 in the 70th minute and then make a 4-2 comeback and then some, right? I mean, there have been several instances with a small sample size that is this season, but this team has shown enough that, look, we've turned the page from the past traumas that have that this club, I should say, not the team, the club have endured, and the fan base have endured. This is a different team, and once the first goal was scored, which was almost inevitable, purely based on the fact of how dominant Dortmund were and how clearly Barça were stifled and, you know, sort of starstruck, if you will. They were like a deer in headlights, where it wasn't just that Dortmund were that good, which they were, not taking any credit away from Kovac's side, but Barca were let down by their passing, by their first touches. None of the first touches were good. Every time that Barça were in a position, whether it was, Fermin Lopez, Rafinha, Lamine Yamal as well, Lewandowski, Gavi, Frenkie de Jong, every time that Barça were faced with a situation where they were able to generate maybe something, potentially something offensively, is the first touch that would let the player down, and therefore the whole offensive action in and of itself would, implode, would collapse. Basically, it was never clear that we were going to create some sort of danger, just because of the fact that, again, it was a parallel universe. Everything, the wind was blowing Dortmund's way. They had the ambition, they had the determination to put us up against the ropes in a difficult position. They managed to do that by scoring the 1-0. Then another penalty, of course, something that we had seen Szczesny commit. What are you going to do in that situation? It's a one-on-one situation, a 1v1 where Szczesny has to commit to trying to protect the ball. And in the meantime, I think it wasn't Girassi. I think it was Bayern, actually, or maybe it might have been Gross, who got, if it was in fact Gross, I now remember, got the first touch to the ball. He did what he had to do, forcing the penalty. 2-0, and now it's like, okay, and now what? And now what's going to happen, right? Now what are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? Are you, as a young, quote unquote, inexperienced team in this situation, going to be able to withstand the enormous amount of pressure that is bestowed upon you by the 60,000 plus Dortmund fans, this yellow wall? By the way, Signo Iduna Park, man, up there with your, Celtics, your Galatasarays. I mean, just for me, one of the best stadiums. It always has been, of course. But in these kind of moments, you realize, like, that's a fan base where that I want to be part of. That I want to support my team. So when it comes to being the 12th player, mad respect to Dortmund for supporting and being that wall of pressure, that yellow wall of pressure. Or are you going to learn how to suffer? Are you going to have that element of suerte del campeón, right? La suerte del campeón, the luck of a champion. Of course, this team still has everything to prove, but it's a championship team in the making. I'm knocking on wood. We won the Supercopa. Okay, they're champions of something. Luckily, the latter prevailed. It wasn't obvious. It definitely wasn't obvious. It needed an own goal generated by Fermin Lopez, who had a good game, had a decent game. I felt like he definitely, and I'm being picky here, but he had a wide open shot. I say wide open. There was plenty of bodies packed into the 18-yard box, the 6-yard box. But he, at a moment, you'll remember, at a certain moment in time, was basically floating around the penalty spot, had a shot on goal, and just whizzed that motherfucker right out the stadium, pretty much. I'm like, damn, you gotta keep that on target. Like, it's easy for me to say, I do realize that, but keep those shots on target. Fermin Lopez, who we know has an excellent shooting ability. He scored goals from outside of the box, for crying out loud. And I'm never mad at him when he tries to take those shots from out of the box, because I know that he can do that. But man, when you're in the box and in that position, in a match with such high stakes, keep it on target. Keep it on target. It was unfortunate that he didn't. That said, he did generate, of course, or provoke rather, the own goal in the end that really kind of tipped the tide, swayed it back into Barca's favor, right? It was the own goal. It was then the substitution of Hansi Flick to say, look, I'm going to take a Gavi off, a Gavi that I knew was going to be taken off, Gavi who, not because he's inferior or didn't live up to the occasion or anything of that nature, simply because we cannot forget the injury that Gavi is coming from, that obliges Hansi Flick to say, look, is it worth me continuing to put that kind of a strain, physical strain on Gavi in such a demanding match, or let me take him off. And I said it. I think regardless, at the hour mark, he would have taken off a Gavi and said, "Look, thank you for your services. Now let's put Pedri back in." And at that moment, it just worked like a charm. The goal that Dortmund conceded brought down the house. It casted a mood, kind of a somber mood, if you will. Not really a somber mood, but it casted mm, it was like a splash of cold water in your face, right? It was like a splash of reality. It was like, it was like, damn, 2-1. Now what? Now what are we gonna do? Well, what they did was not really give up hope, as in, yes, Barca were in command as of that moment in time. Mind you, in that moment in time, we had generated, you know how many shots on target? This many. This many shots on target. At halftime, it was like 6-0. At the time that Pedri came in, I think it was 10 or 9 or 10 or something of that nature. It was astonishing just how uncharacteristic Barca were looking. And yes, it serves as something to learn from. There has to be a learning curve at this point in time moving forward to the semifinals, because we're most likely going to face an Inter side that is going to be very unforgiving in the back and unforgiving in the front, meaning that I think they've only conceded, and I'm going to invite my friend Nima on for a post-match podcast here on D-Spot for sure. If you catch me on the spaces after Champions League matches, it's always Nima that takes the grand stage, and it's just a pleasure to listen to. Man, he's a football philosopher, if you will. Very unlike me. It's less passionate and just fucking and it's more, again, like nuanced, more sober like conversation. So. And a big Inter fan, a big fan of Italian football. So I'm very excited to get him on the podcast and see what he has to say about this potential matchup in the semifinals, where I mean, my gut says it'll be a Barça-Inter, Inter-Barça, in that order. Mind you, we don't have the home factor in our favor. So we shall see. But just to finish off the game, as the comments have gone quiet altogether, I think everyone's just... That's it. Am I still streaming? Is this still live? Yeah, it is still live. Okay, good. 3 of you watching. Good. Any questions? Again, drop them in the comment sections, just so I know that you guys are alive, that this is going. But then Girassi, he had to do what he had to do. Scored his hat trick, the man of the match award as well. I don't know if you guys managed to catch the... Very funny. Maybe I could share that. Catch the man of the match award, the picture that was shown. Shout out here to Pablito Wolves, going into my DMs here. The man ain't happy. Imagine scoring a hat trick. Imagine having a game of your life. And he really did. He played a fantastic match, besides from just scoring a hat trick, of course. But he had a wonderful game, and Dortmund did as a whole. And you got to feel hard done by. I feel like they would have felt like they at least were in with a chance to force extra time. It definitely looked like that at some point, especially when he scored the 3-1, of course. There was still like 15 minutes left on the clock. It looked like he was going to be, or Dortmund in general, were going to be able to at least force another goal or two. Mind you, they had like 2 goals disallowed. So were it not for the fantastic efforts and the timeliness of that high line of Barça, and I'm sure you guys seen all of the the shots as well, the gif that it is now of Gerard Martin kind of like trying to stay disciplined and making sure that he's in line with the Barca forwards to make that defensive, to cause that offensive trap. It was what it was, right? He deserved to get the man of the match, and I just had to send him Dembele as well. Dembele, of course, who had a great match. QSG making it to the semifinal for a second year in a row, but QSG that definitely showed some frailness, maybe complacency on their part as well. Even though they won, Dembus with the disappointed, not satisfied face, and I think for a good reason, for sure. What is this? What is Twitter like? Honestly, to God, the Twitter algorithm is insane these days. Anyway, so that's pretty much it. That being said, in a couple hours' time, another big clash is taking place. You see there on your screens, 8 o'clock. That's Greenwich time. It's 9 o'clock Central European time. Real Madrid will take on the Gunners, the Arsenal, and we all know what is going to happen. I do not, for the life of me, understand or know why Madridistas, mainly my good buddy Kian, is so doom and gloom. And hey, look, this is live, baby. So look at this, bro. Diego with the crazy inside scoop. I thought he was trolling. I told you, man. I told you. What did I tell you? Klopp is gonna be the next manager. Yes, yes, sir, indeed. He will be. So here's a little. I did half an hour. Just want to make sure that this is coming in good. This is coming in clean. I had a fun little time. No comments coming in, so I'm gonna end the broadcast soon because I've got pesty kids to deal with and all that, and a wife who's very patient who allowed me to take this time here to come to you guys live. Madrid, you will at least be in a position to make something out of this. I fully, wholeheartedly believe that. And the reason is as follows. Take a listen. Give us a follow on Churros y Tácticas. Give me a follow as well while you're at it. Why not? On all of my social media channels. There's 7 now to pick from, Twitch and Kick included. But take a listen here, and then we'll say our goodbyes. And hasta la próxima. You never know. Juanito. Espirito. It's gonna happen. Like they always do. Like they always do. Yeah. Well, look, I understand Keon's point, but that's where I see that Keon mm, hasn't been drinking the juice enough. We've all seen this movie one too many times. I guarantee you, Madrid will be in a position to make a remontada happen, and they will have external factors accomplish that. I still am putting my money on a Clásico final in the Champions League. We got the Copa final coming up in 2 weeks. We got a Liga final coming up 2 weeks after that. Will it be a Champions League final, Clásico final in a month's time from now? Month and a some? I do think so. I do think so. I genuinely believe that. So you can quote me here, hold it against me. Of course, if Madrid do get knocked out, you're not going to hear me complain. You're not going to hear me complain, but it will be a surprise to me. So, best of luck to all of y'all's. I hopes to see you on the next stream. When that will be and where, I don't know. I need to figure all this shit out. I still got a bunch of technicals to figure out. Want to make sure that this is all going smoothly, fluidly, seamlessly, and according to plan. So on all the different channels, I want to be as efficient as possible. Again, welcome to D Spot, folks. We are cranking up the channels again on all fronts, and I'm happy that you're all part of the journey. So thank you for your for joining. Thank you for your patience as well. I say that mainly to Patreon peoples, and yeah, not sure if you addressed this, but are you worried about the performance last night? Yishai, definitely. In fact, I was gonna skim over that without addressing that. Not on purpose, mind you. But yes, I am worried about that. I also hope, by the way, that the audio came through fine of the screen share earlier. But yes, I definitely bringing up a good point. Am I worried about what took place over at the Signo Aduna Park? And not just that, what took place over the last, you know, what has it been? Ever since the international break, really? Like, it hasn't been pretty, hasn't it? uh, Thanks for the curveball thrown my way, but it really, we saw it against Betis, the 1-0 against Atletico in the semifinal of the Copa can be, say, quote unquote, excused, but it really has been this month of April that has kind of like, I mean, going all the way back to like November, where Barça clearly started to get a dip. The loss against Real Sociedad, rather, the tie against Celta, the loss against Palmas, who can forget? The tie against the Real Betis side that, yes, are very good indeed. The 1-0 loss against Leganés at home. At home. Now, this one again, kind of want to exempt the loss against the Colchoneros at home as well in the league, because we did play that game very, very well. But the standouts being Palmas and Leganés. Yeah, man. Yeah, that was a bad month and a half or so. Is this reminiscent right now, and is it coming at the worst possible moment? I don't want to jinx nothing, but I am worried. Borussia are still the team right now that have handed us our first defeat of the year. You can say, look, what are you going to make of one defeat? Okay, but it was an own goal that saved our asses against Leganés. And Leganés that beat us at the Luis Companys in December. And now we needed an own goal to get the 3 points. And a Borussia that also granted us an own goal to kind of get, stop them in their tracks, right? And save ourselves from European embarrassment. I am worried. I am worried. Not so much for the Betis game, not so much for Atletico de Madrid, although the signs were kind of there as well when the players returned from international duty. I think it's pretty clear. I don't want to single out players. Don't want to do that, especially not because these are players that I've held at such high regard over the course of this season, that have just been, producing fantastic football. But certain players have come back from the international break, not themselves, or that we have been used to. So, to address to be direct, Yeshai, thank you for your question. I am worried, but in Hansi Flick and this team, do we trust to turn the situation around and bring this team back to the high-flying offensive footballing ways that we know it can produce, it has been producing over the stretch of this season. And if it doesn't, if we leave this season empty-handed, of course I'll be disappointed, but I'll know that we are on the right track. What does that mean? It means that, like I said at the beginning of the season, I want this team to compete against the best at the latter stages of the competitions, and that's exactly what we're doing. Alive in 3, +4 in La Liga, in the final of the Copa, and now in the semifinal of the Champions League, and champions of the Supercopa. Hey, this has been a great season. Let's hope we can finish it with a happy end. Vale, andiamo. Good night, folks. Have a good evening. We'll see you guys on the flip side on the next live stream. Make sure you give us a follow on patreon.com, churros y tácticas. I'll be back there tomorrow for our patrons only, giving you guys some of that juice, some of that goodness with Kian Sobani in the aftermath of Madrid Arsenal. Is it going to be a doom gloom, Kian? Can I make fun? Or is it going to be a Kian that's going to be puffing his chest? We'll have to wait and see. All right, fine. I'll take the last comment. What's up? What's up? In the Instagram. Instagram is key. Most of my comments haven't come from Instagram. Benfica almost exposed the tactical vulnerabilities of the Highline. Borussia tweaked it and almost pulled it out. Inter will kill Barça. All right, Prasanna. I appreciate your comment. And I would have to agree that Benfica were very good in exposing the Highline, very efficient for the matter. Mind you, a Benfica that I always held at high regard, always meaning this season, especially when I saw what they pulled off in the league phase, but it's also in this knockout phase. So, yeah, of course, there are teams that have offensive firepower and that are able to expose the high line. Madrid were not. Will Inter? We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know about Inter killing Barça. I don't think it will be a demolition. I think it will be a tight affair. I don't think Barça are going to walk away with a high score line. Neither do I expect Inter to. Despite the fact that, defensively they've been ever so sound. Like I said, I think conceding only 3 goals in a European competition and up front being a less high-flying goal-scoring machine that this Barça is, who have been steamrolling the vast majority of the competition. Stats don't lie, Prasanna. So take a look. But more on that later. We'll have to wait and see whether Inter actually makes it to the semifinal as well, Prasanna. Don't take Bayern for granted, son. What's going on? What's going on? Puffing your chest out with 2.5 hours before kickoff, eh? You're feeling yourself. I'll catch you on the next stream, though, Prasanna. Subscribe. Peace out.